All right, we'll get into it. So, where's my list? So it's 9 o'clock in Varese, in Italy. This is Andrea's home, which is very close to Varese, and Andrea hosted last year's UCI World Amateur Championships, and we met the year before in Albi at the World Championship held in France. Apologies on this call. So Julian Darty and Kevin May were we're going to call in most likely. Coming, Sean stuck at work, who would be here, and Andrea has a few international guests that he thought might be calling in. But this is the first trial of doing a Zoom connection, and this is the first time that Andrea and I have been friends for now two and a half years, almost 3 years. We took a bunch of people to Varese for something he hosted, and he came and joined the last day of our Melbourne-Sydney ride. But this is the first time we've sort of formally built on events, and one more ride is formally collaborated. And I think it's going to be fantastic. Andrea, I think I know the roads in Italy and France very well, but it's a bit like riding here. Andrea really knows the roads. Yeah, he really knows the small roads, the right coffee shop, and the right pacing, and so forth. So we've got the 6 segments to this this venture. Anyone can do 5 out of 6. Nobody can do 6. I'll explain that in a second. So, Andrea, perhaps talk about one more ride and maybe the first 3 parts, and I can talk about parts 4 and 5.
Yep. Well, yeah, as John was saying, yeah, we are excited as well to run this tour together. This is really our first time we do a tour in partnership with someone else that will do something similar to what we do. We think that it's always good to join forces whenever, there is a benefit for everybody. So, and I'm sure there will be benefit for, especially for people that will join this tour. So we can provide some inside knowledge of the region because we are local. John the time, so he knows more or less what we know. So I think it's going to be a success for everybody. So we put together this on our website. We call it like European Odyssey, because basically we will try to cross the entire Alps from France to Austria by bike, which sounds really challenging, but we also put some easier rides in between the legendary and big climbs like the Alpe d'Huez, Stelvio, Mortirolo, and Gavia. So it's not just about climbing every day, but definitely there will be a lot of climbing during these weeks. So the first week we start in France, and we will do everything the Tour de France. So we'll be based in Bourg-d'Oisans, and the Alpe d'Huez will be the highlight of the first 6 days. We'll go up and down on every single road that goes up there, including all the balcony roads around that beautiful area. We'll do the Lacet de Montvernier, which has been featured in the Tour de France, and the world was impressed about that incredible road. I've done it a few times, and it is really incredible, like it looks like on TV. Spectacular. We'll do a couple of other big climbs, like the Glandon, for example, that is much harder than the Alpe d'Huez. So 6 days, close to the challenge, a beer challenge up the Alpe d'Huez. I've heard there is this big competition around who is going to pay for the beer at the top of the Alpe d'Huez. And if I remember well, the beer at the Alpe d'Huez is quite expensive, so you better train well. 5-6 days. The first 6 days will be amazing, really, and it's all about that. So then we'll try to ride towards Italy. We'll do part of the transfer by bike, moving from west to east, cross the border up here in Varese, in the Italian Lakes District. So Varese is my hometown. It's where we did the World Championship, the UCI Grand Fondo World Championship last year. It's a great region for cycling. We spent a few days here, and we will also include the legendary Col de Ghisallo and the Muro di Sormano. This is the Giro di Lombardia classic route, and this year will also be in the Giro d'Italia. There will be one stage that will replicate the last 100 kilometers of the Giro di Lombardia course. So on May 26th, there will be this epic stage di Sormano. From there, we'll ride on the Alps, so on the big mountains, and we go to Bormio. Bormio is an incredible spot, famous for skiing in the winter, the Roman Spa, but also for us as cyclists, it's more famous for the Stelvio, the Gavia, the Mortirolo. So the three legendary climbs around Bormio, about them, and we will do actually all of them. So the Mortirolo on our way from the Lake Como to Bormio, and the Gavia and Stelvio once we are there. So something not to miss. And then from there, we'll start also the third leg, and we'll start in Bormio another day, so we can do the Stelvio from another of the three sides. And then we are to Dolomite. The Dolomites, again, UNESCO World Heritage. It's an incredible spot, possibly the best or one of the best cycling region in the world. And again, there is not much flat around there. We will do all the classic mountains, of the Dolomiti, for example, one of the most famous Gran Fondo, the Sellaronda, Passo Pordoi, Marmolada, Fedaia, Jau, everything that we can do in days, we'll put into the itinerary. Great spot for great food, great accommodation, quality of the roads is amazing. So really a fantastic place to bike. Last 2 days, we'll keep riding east towards Austria this time, and we'll finish this leg near the brutal but really famous Monte Zoncolan. I don't know if you have done that climb before, or if you have heard about this climb. Definitely one of the most challenging paved roads we have in Europe. Average is something around 13.5%, and it's not that short as well. So it is a stupid climb, but very you've done it. So this will be our last day of the Dolomites leg, and then from there we are close to the Austrian border, and we will then transfer by car this time to where we'll stay for the next 2 weeks, doing the bike race, the bike week in Artberg, and followed by the Master World Championship in San Juan. So that's it. This is the first, let's say, 3 legs of the European Odyssey. John?
Thanks, Andrea. I think Julian's on the phone. Julian, can you hear us?
Yeah, I sure can. Hi, everyone. How are you?
Good.
Nice to see you. God, you're a good-looking bunch of people. My God.
Yeah. This is the room that Julian built. So actually, we're sitting in your room. So we got Phil, who's a friend of Peloton, obviously Katie, Roscoe, Rob, Andrea on the phone, and myself. Bill, I think Bill's online as well. So Julian,
Yeah, I can see today, maybe. Yeah.
If you mute, then we can hear Andrea.
Yeah, just mute your microphone till a bit later. Thanks, mate.
Yep. So, do you have any, maybe we can, before we start talking about Austria, John, what do you think? We can see if the guys have some questions about these legs. What do you think?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Because Julian on the phone and all of them, well, Katie and Roscoe, Elton, Phil, Julian, Rob, me are doing the first 2/3 parts. So, guys, Elton, Phil, Julian, any questions? Yes. Yeah, because you're more Austrian. Yeah, Austria. Yeah.
Which sides of the Stelvio are you going to climb?
Well, we will do all of them in one day.
Sounds good. You don't have to do one day, Japan.
In one day. Well, that's something that I do once a year. I do the 3 sides of the Stelvio in one day to prove myself that I'm still a good rider. And it's getting harder and harder, but it is possible. It's 156 kilometers with about 5,000 meters of elevation. And it's a great challenge. And you get a free sandwich on top if you do it. So that's not. It is a good motivation. No, Vegemite. It's illegal in Italy. So no, you get a typical Südtirol sausage sandwich, which is not really that light, but it really helps.
Yeah.
So we, of course, those days we have the option to do 2 sides in one day, which is a classic ride. So generally from Bormio, you go up let's say what we call the easy side from Bormio. You go all the way to the top, and you come back a few kilometers, 4 kilometers, and you go down to Switzerland, the Swiss side, Santa Maria, and then go around and climb the classic side, the one with the 4 switchbacks. That's something you can do in one day, and it's of course it's a challenging ride, but I think let's say most of people are trained and fit, they can do it. Otherwise, we will do it in 2 separate days. We'll do the classic side from Prato allo Stelvio and the easier side from Bormio in 2 separate days. Yeah. It's an incredible, the Stelvio is definitely something that every cyclist should do at least once. It's one of the most epic climb you can do on the bike.
Yeah, what you described, the climb up from Borneo and down to Switzerland, great descent, and then we're actually looking at a picture on the wall of the classic side coming back up, and then finishing. So you've had a fantastic day without feeling bitter about it. It's been so hard. I don't fancy doing 2 sides, I have to say.
I read an article about it. I think the guy 2 a.m. or something.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah. Because you want to enjoy it,
Now the big challenge is actually the altitude, I think, for most of people. I mean, the distance and the elevation, it's big, but same nights. But riding up there, so when you pass the 2,000 meters above sea level, well, if you're not used to, or it doesn't really matter, some people suffer more than others. So the last 10 kilometers or more can be really challenging. So, you know, trying to get up there to the top, especially from the classic side, you see the house over there, you see the top. But trust me, you never get there. I mean, it's really like, it is, that's not possible. Yeah, especially when you do it as last of the three. You know, when you do the three sides in one day and you keep the hardest one for last. Well, anyway, the challenge is on.
Julian, you missed the description of the first part, but have you any questions around France, Alpe d'Huez, and so forth?
Yeah, so I looked at the track that it was taking. It was nice. I think that would be a really nice part of the world to see. Just taking it easy, as you said, and just get out there and not kill yourselves, but just taking the looks and the views. It would be great. I haven't been to the part of Italy, so actually I haven't been out of Rome really, and La Spezia and Rome is the only two places I've seen. So it'd be nice to see that side of it for sure.
Be nice to see you too, mate. Put your camera on.
Is my camera not on?
No.
Where is it? Hey, have I ever told you guys that I'm a really good plumber? But I'm shit at IT.
All right, don't worry.
Don't stress.
Okay, hang on. Students unable. Okay, how do I do this? Is it up here?
That's all right.
Don't worry, don't stress. We know you're online.
I've actually purposely had no clothes on so that
Go with me, because we want to see you on the radar, because everyone can see it. Like,
I wouldn't have a clue how to do it, mate. So anyway, no idea. Yeah. So I didn't know you couldn't see me. Hang on. How does it work? Quickly, just tell me quickly.
If you've got a camera, there'll be a camera icon down the bottom somewhere.
Yeah, start video.
Yeah, that's.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh.
hey, hello, I'm here.
I saw him.
Okay. So, Julian, go.
It doesn't really matter. So if I can't.
Yeah, that's all right, mate. Don't worry. We'll go back to Andrea.
All right.
Yeah. That's all right. I forgot to mention one thing. So the difference between the three legs. So when we are in France, around the Alps, we'll basically stay in the same place for 5 nights. So basically we don't move. We always stay at the same place, which is different from what we do the following 2 legs, which will be moving every 2 days. So we spend 2 nights in each location. So it's good to do a mix.
Yeah.
Sometimes night, so you can really settle down and relax. No packing, no stress. On the other side, it's also good to move around the places a little bit, so you get the chance to see different locations, explore different towns, and also you get that sense of the adventure, you know, moving from one place to another. So that's why we also decided to do these 2 different kind of trips. And then again, when we are in Austria, we will stay basically in the same place for the week because of the race, of course.
So how do we get to between the 2?
It's really nice places. Very good 4-star hotel, nice, simply located, you know, so where we can walk into town and enjoy the atmosphere of the mountains. Food, of course, as we mentioned, would be great. In both, I'm Italian, so don't ask me which one would be better because you know the answer. But that's, you know, I'm not neutral. Anyway, so the food would be a great highlight every day, every single day. And then what about what we include in the package? So as you can see from the website, will be enough stuff to really look after you very well. There will be one mechanic always following us. Enough vehicles to support everyone on the road. We will provide food, sport food, before, during, and after the ride. Good quality gels, bars, recovery drinks, and everything. We'll do parts or whatever you have any mechanical issue, you will be able to keep riding with no problem at all. And then included in the tour pack, there will be a beautiful kit that will be made together by Peloton Events One More Ride. You get a She-Con bag, the same that the pro use. They call it the rain bag. So it's a beautiful technical bag with your name and nationality on, with all the different pockets where you can put, your spare clothing. Exactly the same that the pro riders use during the races. You get a set of glasses made by NRC, which is one of our partner, with Zeiss lenses, great quality. What else? So there will be a lot of small services that will make your life much easier during your holiday. And you have the option, of course, to rent if you want to travel light and you don't want to carry your bike from Australia to Europe. And that's, of course, up to you. You can rent one of our top-end bikes, or with DA2 super lights. There will be the Alpha bikes in France, or the Villiers and the Italian legs. So Villiers 07 with Dura-Ace, or we'll take the DA2, great wheels. So great bikes specifically for the mountains. Okay.
So filling in the gaps on logistics, the guys asking a couple of questions, Andrea. So in terms of moving between the tours, so assuming you're not coming in, that's kind of included. So we will, between the Alps and Varese, I drove it in about 4.5 hours. So we'll ride part way towards the mountain line. I'm not sure if we'll do the mountain line or not. And then the support vehicle will come along at some point, pick us up, and we'll get into Varese that day. People who are starting tour 2 will be flying in that day. I'll come to the airport in a second. Trip 2 essentially rolls into trip 3, so Borneo will be the staging point between the two and 3 or thereabouts. So there's no transit between 2 and 3. But after we finish the Zonko line at the end of trip 3, there's quite a long drive into Austria. It's actually the east side of Austria. I'll talk about Austria in a second as well. In terms of airports, and correct me if I'm wrong, Andrea, but I think we'll set an airport for each trip. So the airport for France is Lyon, which is, and I will set an airport for each trip and a pickup from that airport if you get in that time. If you come outside that time, then you need to get to the start. I think that's probably the fairest way. So we'll have a pickup from Lyon into the Borg, to Poisson on the 29th. There will be an extra option, because I'm coming from Italy with one of the vehicles on the 28th from Milan Malpensa. So that is an extra day essentially in the Borg. So come in the 28th in the morning. I can pick up a couple of people that are already agreed. I would pick up Julian and Kevin, but we can organise more, I guess. And then we go over the Alps into the Borg. For people flying straight into trip 2, Andre will...
Milan is an option.
Yeah, you can pick up from Milan Malpensa. Yeah.
Yeah, Milano Malpensa is an option also for the French Alps. I mean, if you arrive to Milano Malpensa and then you want to leave from Milano Malpensa, for example, after the first leg or the second leg, we are definitely going from Milano to France as well. So it can be the 27.
Yeah, you can pick up some people. So it's like a 4-hour drive from memory, maybe more. And then for trip 3, I'm not quite sure how you get into there. Maybe from Venice or or even Malpensa or Venice.
Venice or Trieste, but yeah, or Milano Malpensa again. Yeah.
And then trip 4, which Katie did last year, I'm Roscoe, Munich is probably the best. But so I won't go too much into Austria, but because Katie and Roscoe have experienced it, but I'll just brief description. So it was quite an eye opener for me last year. So the Europeans do racing a whole lot better than we do in Australia. It feels like fun. Whereas Australia, when you race, it's just not. No one cares. It's not fun. It's not. I don't know how to do it. Yeah, it's just So that's why guys like Ross don't do it, and I think I just do it so that it just keeps an edge. But I love the Austrian racing. So basically, it's based in Hartberg, which is the east side of Austria, and it's like these beautiful small country roads. And there's a 6-stage tour. You can do any one stage, or you can do all 6. It's a hill climb, there's a kermesse, a criterion, there's 3 laps of 25k, a very small road circuit, and there's a jersey. There's these big trophies which you get each day. So to give you an idea, this is a 5th place trophy. So you get.
How far deep do they go?
Yeah. So they
33rd.
So they go to 5th at Hartberg online. So I actually got, believe it or not, I got 5 5ths in a row. The other 4 guys were just better, but I could beat the rest. So, but it's fantastic. And so the routine for that is really good. You stay in one place at Hartberg. It's beautiful little town, right at the town centre of Hartberg. It's a tiny town. There's no opening prologue the night before. They shut the town. They put barricades straight through the town centre. You come off a hill straight up through the town. It's like a 2-minute prologue that sets the scene right in front of the hotel. Have beers afterwards, wake up late, have a long breakfast, ride out to the race, which is typically 2 o'clock, sign on, do your 2-hour race, come back, have beers, and then go back to Thanksgiving. It's just, we do that for 6 days. It's great fun. And the standard is, the standard is high, I really went hard to try and win a stage, and I couldn't do it. So standard, I reckon, is pretty high, but you can just, anyone in this room would be comfortable. As long as you can handle the bike. So we do that for 6 days, roughly, and then we will probably spend 1 more day in Hartberg just because of the timing, and then we'll drive the 4 hours across Austria to St. Johann. And St. Johann is where they are hosting the 51st World Masters Championship. So before the UCI got involved in the space, the World Masters Cycle Federation have been running these World Championships for 50 years. This is now the 51st year. So that's the one where, so on the Monday there's a World Cup. It's a race that Katie famously won, the World Cup champion. There's an airport sprint. They close down the airport. There's an airport sprint, which I think I got a medal for. The afternoon is a hill climb, it's a new one. Then there's a time trial, which now has got a chance in because you've got these big Germans that come down to the time trial, which is really good fun. And then you've got the World Masters road race, Ross did it for the first time, 23rd. I got 13th, pretty close. So I'm really targeting that. It's 2 laps of a 40k route. It's not that technical, it's not that difficult, but it's beautiful. And people saying, right, that's the one that Katie came second, the one with our shoulder to shoulder with the winner, with me hanging out the car behind. And we stay in a hotel run by a woman called Ostrich. What's her name? Astrid, thank you. And it's right at the start, so it's right at the sort of the area of the setup. There's big presentations, and you get trophies down to 20th points. And they're big. So you've got to take a 63 trophies back.
Nice coffee, nice gelatos, nice and square.
Yeah. So we're doing that basically the end of August, and then I'm going to stay on a couple more days because Eurobike, which is the worldwide site, is in a place called Nürnberg, a German town very close to St. Johann. So I'm actually going to go there, probably with Katie, but if anyone else wants to come, they've never been to Eurobike. But also that same weekend is St. Johann is UCI World Championships in Poland. And for anyone else that you guys know, we're going to offer the Poland option. Andre is still working out which one he actually goes to in the end. But for sure, there'll be a whole Polish experience like we had in Varese. But I'm personally not going to do that. And then we'll fly back out of. Well, I need to work out where to fly back out because it depends on the vehicles, Andre, and what we do with them and so forth. So
Yeah.
Probably fly back out of Milan. See.
So if we fly our own bikes over in a bike bag,
Yeah.
we just put them in the vehicle and just keep transporting.
Yeah. Soft.
There's room.
Soft bike bag. Yeah. The Cyclone soft bike bag would be.
I don't know what I'm doing yet.
Yeah. I can lend you soft bike bag.
And all the mechanic have like basic spares and stuff, so they'll have that.
Yeah.
So like if I'm doing out.
Or I'll bring a specific one.
I
for
do
the bike.
anyway, but yeah.
Just fix them.
So Andre, so the great thing of it, I guess what I was going to say with the logistics of this. I mean, anyone can go anywhere and ride a bike as a beautiful riding a bike. As Katie and I discovered on Sunday, we did the Gear Up Girl ride, signposted all the way from Homebush to Cronulla. Amazing, didn't think about it. Just got there on bike pass, didn't miss a beat, didn't have a traffic light, didn't really have a road. And this is my turn, we rode back. We must have made 30 wrong calls. We kind of got there, kind of following the sun, but it wasn't.
I know where I'm going.
Yeah,
I'm 100%.
Yeah, and despite the fact how famously we got on in our town with only 2 of us, then the sun was beating down. It could have easily turned a really great day into a really shit day. And if you add on to that then you got a puncture or you have a little fall, then that's when the support comes in. But knowing where you're going to go, it just turns you can turn a great experience into a bad experience if you don't know the turns. And that's kind of why I'm very reliant on Andre and his team to give us that. And also then have that support. Andre's got a big warehouse, which I set myself up in for last year's World Champs. And he's got everything in that warehouse, 100 Garmins and, and 100 pumps and, and
48.
So Rob's right, take it to the hanger and your bike in perfect condition and the rest is covered. Yeah.
It's also, it's a place where you can leave your, bike case or extra stuff. I mean, if you're planning to spend, more than a week or 2 and you want to go from like the Italian leg to Austria and then flying back from Italy, it's easy enough to leave the bike case and everything you don't need here so that you can travel light across Europe and then come back here and then fly back home. So that helps a lot.
Do you have the routes already mapped out for a Garmin?
Oh,
Just download the routes.
yeah, routes, GPS.
Sorry?
The routes or routes, whatever you want to call it, GPS, so we can put them in our Garmin's.
Will we do that?
Dunno.
Yeah.
Question.
Well, every trip will have its own route. So there will be GPX file, and you can, we can provide a GPX file. You can upload into your device anytime, or you can use one of our Garmin as well with the preloaded maps. So it's really up to you. If you want to keep your own device, you just put all the courses into the Garmin or whatever you use, and it's easy, really easy enough. I mean, we will always ride as a group, but some days if you want to go faster or even slower, and you want to do your intervals, or you want to stop to take millions of pictures, so you're happy to stay on your own for some time, you can just follow your Garmin. Then there will always be the car, doing a backup. But basically, that gives you also take your time without stress or feel that you have to, always pushing hard, because otherwise everybody else have to wait for you or wait for other people. So because it can be both ways. Yep. So that's really easy. And then every day we'll have some like regular options, like regular rides, and option to ride more. So we can call them extra loop. So just add an extra climb or an extra little distance, or sometimes even shortcut. If that day you want to keep it easy and you don't feel like you want to ride for 5-6 hours or 4, or you don't want even to jump in the car, whenever it's possible, we have shortcuts available. So you can just basically ride back to the hotel on an easier route.
Thanks.
The idea is that it's your holiday. So, and we try to give you all the possibilities to enjoy every day. Sometimes, you don't want to ride a lot, or you want to ride more. So, and that's up to you.
You got any questions, Bill?
I guess my question is around the groups that have done it before, if I'm not sounding like a chipmunk. How many have been in groups, and have they all stayed together, or they tend to split up, or how's that panned out?
Well, I would say that the groups on these tours will be relatively small, so would not be a lot of people. So, which is a way also to avoid having people spread out. So saying that, there would be what we usually do. We ride together when it's let's say rolling or up and down on flat. We ride as a group. Try to set up a pace that is fine for everybody, always keeping in mind that there will be a lot of climbing ahead. So once the climb starts, pace, because the climbs here are long. We might climb for more than an hour or even 2 hours sometimes. So everybody has to go at their own pace with no stress. We will do, let's say, an official regroup at the top. Let's say we try to regroup so that then we can start descending together. And there would be like intermediate stop along the climb. So where the color there to make sure that everybody's having a good time, providing water, extra food, or whatever we need. So, but basically the climb is free. You can go fast, you can take it easy. And same thing is on the descent. Descending here is different than in Australia, as you know. So we don't want to force anyone to ride faster or slower than what they want. So safety is always rule number one. So we will descend at a good speed, but if people don't feel comfortable with that speed, they can go slower, take their time, and the car will always follow the group at the very end. So making sure that if something happens, the car will be there straight away. So, and then we will regroup at the bottom again. Most of the times the temperature is very if the bottom too. So what we do on top of the van, will provide your bag where you can pick up your extra clothing, put your jacket on, leg warmers, whatever we need. Do the descent, regroup at the bottom. If it's hot again, take everything we want back and then ride on the flat valley or back to the hotel, wherever we are going. So this is the idea. Exactly what, the pro do when they do their rides together with the team. Yep.
Thank you.
This is sorry. I mean, this is of course during the non-racing legs. So once you are in Austria and doing your own race, well, that's a different story. We are shooting whenever is possible the race on the race course according to the rules. But then of course that's your own race. So there's not much we can help in helping you going faster. All right.
Okay, how long do we have left on the Zoom?
They gave us a bonus. Unlimited.
Okay, that's what that was. One of the reasons that, Andre and I got on very well, kind of riding a similar way, I guess, but one of the reasons I've ridden with his staff and team, they were very good to me. And I went to check out Varese actually last year. One of the things that I like about the way we both do our tours is that I'm not into organising a trip all around the slowest and most unfit rider, because what about everyone else is training really hard in that trip? So with support vehicle at the back, but some quite fit riders, and just a vehicle ahead, but just a bit of confidence in ourselves. Just very happy for someone to go and stretch their legs, and once we get onto a hill, and just to go and get your PR, get try to repeat your mate, off you go, and the best way to manage everyone's exuberance is just to ride hard on a hill for an hour, and you'll soon, you'll use up that exuberance. So a lot of trips you kind of get told off around that, you can't do that, and this will be, we want everyone to train, get fit for the trips, and then get the most out of it. That being said, absolutely, it's not like our Melbourne Sydney rides where there's this thing about we have to get there by a certain time and we have to get it done because we're moving. There is no rush in this. If you want to go up and take a picture of every bend of Alptuas or Stelvio, yeah, you can. We're not concerned about it. So it is quite relaxed from that point of view. And his Andre rides that way. It's good. But yeah, if you can beat Andre up in these hills, then hats off to you. It's pretty fit.
Free sandwich.
Yeah, a big one. Yeah. No, it is cycling holiday. I mean, they're not planning sort of not camp, but a training experience if you want to, and there's nothing wrong with that. But generally, what you can do if you want to do a good training ride, you do whatever you can call them intervals. you go up and then maybe you descend back and you ride, your recovery with someone else that is taking the climb a bit easier. So the idea is to enjoy the day as a group as well. But we understand that not everybody climb in the same way. So riding on the flat is different. When you climb the Alps, if you force somebody to ride at different pace, you can do it for one day, and then the second day is it's really personal, and that's it. We need to ride according to this. And recovery drink, of course, beer will play a big part in that. We need plenty of recovery drinks.
So what size group are you thinking about, John?
But
The number that's easy to work with. I mean, I think we'll aim for about a dozen people. I don't know how you feel about that, but probably don't want to have. I mean, it depends how wide the schools are, but I think a dozen people. Is a nice number.
Anything between 8 and 15 is a good number and easy to manage, and also have some fun. It's that on and off the bike. But I would say not more than 14, 15, because then it becomes more challenging to manage, but also for every rider, you get less attention, even if we can be more staff, but it doesn't really work that way. So it's better to keep it more private like that. So it's not first in.
Yeah, obviously first. I mean, obviously we honor now very keen that people lock in early, because it means we can tailor stuff if people get any requests. It means that we are sure about our hotel bookings, we're sure about our vehicle bookings, we're sure about the right staff. I think we're reasonably close to going through that.
Yeah. One thing we didn't mention, maybe, we structured the trip in 6 days legs. Sorry. But you for your friends to, I would say, to join the groups in different days. I mean, according to your availability. So everywhere we stay, I would say it's pretty easy to, let's say, organize a transfer on a different day to make sure you can join the group 1 or 2 days later. People starting and finishing on the same day because it's just easier to manage. But that's not a limitation. If you can't really be there at that day, you can also join later or finish earlier. So we are able to accommodate that as well.
Great. As long as we know that for you guys, it might be you want to do a couple of days in trip 3. I don't know. Might want to look.
I was hoping to do the Stelvio, which I think's at the beginning of trip 3.
Exactly. So you do. Yeah.
That would be good.
So we can make that work. Yeah. But I just need to get that locked in, and then we'll make that. Particularly if there's 2 or 3 of you, and then at the end of that day, everyone's back safe. We can get the vehicle and.
Yeah, plenty of flexibility.
Yeah. That's good. Yeah. And then Katie might come in during trip 3 at some point, and then to do a couple of climbs before we go off to Austria. But yeah, Europe's small. It's not like Australia, so.
Yeah, I mean, the distance here are different. You always have mountains in the middle, so 100 kilometers here are different. But still is nothing is too far. And having a lot of connections here, it's easy enough to always find someone that can drive you, come to pick you up at the airport and drive you to our hotel at a sort of convenient prize without spending, you know, hundreds of euros in a tag with the tag.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyone got any final questions they want to do?
Thanks, Andrea.
There's maybe I don't know if you mentioned. I think you mentioned early on, but Simon Clark, who did the Strada.
Yeah.
So he'll try and come out maybe on trip 2.
Oh, great.
Yeah, trip 2 and maybe 3. So, well, it still depends on his race schedule, but if he's doing the Vuelta again after the tour, so he will have a few days free in between, and generally he stays around here to train. So when we come from the French Alps, cross the Lakes District and maybe do the Stelvio, so should be for 1, 2, 3, 4 days, whatever, which is always kind of fun. Sort of. Yeah. Yeah, you've seen him. He's in good form now. He's racing well. For captain yesterday, 2 days ago, crash on the first stage of the Paris-Nice, and he broke his collarbone. So plans might change because, of course, Uran was supposed to do the Tour de France again, but now it depends on how fast he will recover. So things change in cycling very quickly. Yeah. We'll see.
All right, mate. We'll let you see your family on the day.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, mate.
Thank you. Good to see you again.
My pleasure.
Yeah.
And
Thank you.
well, see you soon.
Yeah. Hopefully.
Cheers.
Thanks,
Nice.
Dustin. We might chat tomorrow night, maybe.
Yep, no worries. I'm here.
This time tomorrow, yeah?
Yep, no problem.
Cheers.
All right. Have a good night. Enjoy your beers.
Over and out.
I'm going for a ride.
One more ride.
One more ride, yeah. All right, ciao.
Ciao.
How do I stop that?